I didn't understand that in this arena, parents have to go find scholarships because in our black schools, the counselors, they knew who the smart kids were, they knew where the scholarships were, and they put them together. And I was so disappointed when we had to take out parent loans because we didn't know about. And so I had started hearing things about Hayfield. Actually, I had a teacher over there, a male teacher, who fed me all the information about what was going on, and said none of the girls were ever selected. None of our girls were selected to be cheerleaders. I said, now wait. We have little loud voices and we can dance, and why can't none of our girls be cheerleaders, but all our boys can be football players, and they're getting broke and banged all up? So I went and talked to the principal, and this guy kept feeding me information. So then we just need to get a concerned black parent group. And so we got really an unusually high support, because I think we probably had about 80 to 100 parents that came out when we first started. And so they had not had a Black History program ever. And this was something I was thinking about too when I was looking at the questions. I was looking at, because I remember when I was in school, we had Negro History Week, and it was just a week. But now they are not doing anything like that. And back in the 80s, because this was when we had the Concerned Black Parent Group, they were not doing anything like that. So I said, I think we should have one. And so the principal agreed, and we had one. And I saw such pride, because this was something that was not dominated by the white kids. They did it. I mean, they did recitations, they did dance, they had so much pride in honoring their ethnicity. And so after we continued for a while, and then after my daughter graduated, then I just kind of dropped out, because the problem I saw was parents. Like one day, a white boy called a black girl a nigger. She slapped him. Principal sent her home and didn't do anything to him. I went to talk to him. Hey, come on, let's go over there and talk to him. Well, she needs to behave herself. Look, I can't go over there and fight for your kid if you don't want to fight for your kid, you know. And so what I understand is that eventually the group became the minority concerned minority parents. So I'm not sure if it's still going on now, but I'll just never forget the pride and that those kids took in, representing their history.
What kind of things did you do in the Fairfax chapter of NAACP?
Well, that one thing, I was like the education chair. That was kind of how I could get into that. But I did, I was a member of the CREX, that's County Revenue Expenditure. I worked on that for 2 or 3 years. And then there was another, on long-term care, I worked on a committee in that. And just really just being supportive wherever, people needed something done in NAACP.
What do you think were some of the major racial issues in Fairfax when you got here?
I think school is a really big thing. And even doing substitute teaching, because when I came, I had the job of working in the lunchroom before I was accepted at the CIA. And there just are, well, because I don't know about county work. I don't know how racial relationships are there. But in the schools, I just think, I see teachers yelling and screaming at kids, and I think they don't need it. I saw a little girl one day, I was substitute teaching, and she was crying. The teacher was saying to her, I want you to apologize to her. I want you to apologize to her. This was a little black girl. She said, no, I'm not going to apologize to her. And she was crying. She said, because she's been mean to me. I'm not going to. And I just wanted to get in there and find out what had really going on. Now, no, I have seen some little feisty black girls over there too. But I just, and I had an experience with a principal. I couldn't believe it. This was a bad day. There was an accident on 95. And I was the sub. So I was scheduled to sub. And so I lived here. I was in the area where I lived, so I didn't have trouble getting to school. So I go into school, following the teacher's rules, instructions, took the kids to the restroom. And so the teacher she said the first 5 boys go in. So I said, first 5 boys go in. But one of the kids who was in that group couldn't go in because they would play in the bathroom. And so the kids were saying to me, oh, he can't go in. Well, the principal was in a room over around the hall with the class because the teacher wasn't there. She runs out of the classroom where she is, and she's screaming at the kids, you guys are making too much noise out here. I heard you all the way around the hall. And so I went to say to her, they were telling me, I'm talking to the kids. I'm talking to the students. So I was very angry with her. And so she went to go, and oh my, she said, I saw you. She come back, you know. I said, hey, can we go down the hall just a little bit and discuss this? No, you come. Yes, the kids are right there looking at me. You come and you stand right here. Can we go down there? No, you come right here. So I wouldn't move. She said, you come right now, or you can get your things and leave. I said, I'll take my things. And so I walked out. So here she had the other class she was with, and then she had my class too, because I had left them with her. I was so angry. I went to the substitute teacher's office, and so they sent me into human resources. Well, we don't know. You don't tell me you don't know who a principal works for, and you're human resources. I want to know who her boss is. So they wouldn't tell me. So I think there's some stuff in Fairfax County schools that
still need to be addressed.
Yes.
So why do you think this project that Congressman Connolly has initiated is so important?
I think this is so important because it will provide information for generations to come. You know, I know me listening to Stella Dallas won't matter, and also to help them to be sensitive, because like we talk to our children about riding on the back of the bus. I mean, it's like, well, why are you upset about that? You know. So I think this is good to just give them an idea of how things have changed. And again, with my substitute teaching, when I was in school, there were 100 elements. We were doing some science about, well, what is it? All these new elements that have been discovered. And so I think it just kind of to look back and see how things were in the olden days, to really appreciate how these phones we have. I'm looking at my phone and getting directions, and so I think it's very, I really appreciate, and I appreciate being a part of it, that Representative Jerry Conley would include me and allow me this time to share my experiences. And
so when you go back to Georgia, do you see differences?
I don't like one of the questions talked about prejudices that I saw when I was growing up, like when you pay you give a cashier your money and they lay it on the counter. I don't notice those as much in Georgia today as I did when I was growing up. Although Atlanta, I mean, it has a black mayor, they have black people in charge, and so I think that could have a little bit of bearing. And black people have a lot of money, and money's power, so.
What do you think your legacy in this is?
Actually, I have. I was looking for a scripture, and I didn't. I thought of doing to others as you would have them do unto you. But when I feel that I have helped people, I've helped make changes, and I think my legacy should be she helped somebody. She helped somebody. I've helped so many people that I don't even remember it. I was at home and I saw this lady that went to high school with us, and she said, "Oh, don't you remember when you were home when your husband was in Vietnam? You used to drive me to work every day." No, I don't remember that. So, and that's what my goal is every day. Matter of fact, every morning when I pray, I always thank God for watching over us during the night, and I pray as we prepare to go out every day. I ask Him to help us to be effective witnesses, and I ask God. I said, when people look at us, our boys, this my immediate family, I said, when they look at us, I ask that you let them see you living in us, Now, somebody tried to cut me off, and I don't let them in. Oh, they didn't see God did. But and that's my goal every day, and I do. I try to help. I will help anybody. Matter of fact, I help people sometimes to a fault. I had a friend in Nebraska. My husband had been in England with them before we were married. His couple. My husband was so rude to his wife. And he said, "She's dumb. She can't do nothing. You're not dumb and you can do something." He said, "She can't learn how to drive." So he worked at night.